Welcome everybody to the rest of Chapter 9 of Fallout Equestria. I was going somewhere with that. Just died.
Think that there was a joke here, at my expense. Still, I wasn't one to turn down a book, especially if it was one Velvet Remedy suggested. I'd just finished sliding the book into my saddlebags when my eyes forward sparkle compass exploded with red. I froze. Crap, that's a lot of enemies. In my mind, I knew the slavers had found us again. And from the looks of things, they'd brought an army. Little Pip, what is it? Anxiously, I whispered. Go get Calamity. Quietly. Please. I turned slowly in place. There was a gap in the red. We weren't entirely surrounded. Trouble. And more than we could handle. Velvet immediately tensed, nodded nervously, and trotted out as quickly and quietly as she could, only knocking over one crate along the way.
Oh,
We
only
both
one.
winced. As she reached the back end of the wagon, she stopped, aghast. Zombie ponies! What? Not slavers. I moved up next to her. I was already forming how I was going to explain to her about ghouls, but the words died.
Alright, okay. I was about to say that's bullshit how the slavers could find them again. Because if any returning parties that come from slave raids to the old Appaloosa, they don't know that they used the train tracks to come in and out. I mean, so okay, that makes sense.
My lips as I took in the blank, hungry stares and shambling, grotesque movements of the approaching herd. These did not look like ghouls. These looked like zombie ponies. I remembered the warning. You get into the wrong places, you'll find yourself hunted by whole packs of cannibal ghoul ponies gone zombie. Moving closer to Calamity, I whispered, Follow me. We watched them shuffle a foot nearer. 2. The closest zombie pony broke into a slavering charge. Run! We ran. Ran like we were being chased by a mindless horde of monsters.
No,
intent
kill
on
them.
eating
They
us
got
alive.
caps.
Because we were. The zombie ponies exploded into action, joining the hunt, our flesh the prize they were after. Many launched into the air and flew towards us. I tried to telekinetically grab a downed sky chariot as we raced past, but the glow around my horn sparked and died. I had no telekinetic tricks to save us. Velvet Remedy shrieked as a zombie pony dove from the sky. She ducked, the creature overshooting her and crashing into a tree. I leapt over the body and kept going, my side beginning to hurt. That hurt swiftly grew into burning coals buried in my side, bringing tears to my eyes and threatening to sap my strength. 2 more zombie ponies dived towards us. Calamity, wide-eyed in fear, suddenly scowled and spat out, Ah, screw this! He skidded to a halt, rearing around and opened fire. The shot ripped the featherless wing off one zombie, causing it to lurch into another. The 2 tumbled out of the sky in a spin, splashing gorily onto a half-buried metal skeleton of a huge wagon designed to carry smaller wagons. Ahead, the rusted hulk of a long passenger chariot rose out of the ground like a barricade. Launching himself into the air, Calamity yelled for us to go around it and keep running. Don't slow down, not for an instant, he cried out as he dodged another flying zombie pony, kicking his saddle to reload. Velvet was pulling ahead of me, my shorter legs and burning side threatening to spell out a most horrific death for me. Velvet tore around the side of the passenger wagon and disappeared behind it. I could hear the herd right at my tail, hooves thundering over the ground in a hungry stampede, foul breath hitting my mane. I couldn't make the turn.
They're pretty
They'd be on me
close.
if I tried. Hoping that my small size would come to my aid for once, I instead leapt for one of the shattered, gaping windows. My body.
Okay, see, children? This is why you always keep a melee weapon on you. Even if you don't put your points in the melee, you should keep a melee weapon on you. This kind of situation right here.
Saddlebags and all sailed cleanly through the opening. I hit one of the benches inside and jumped for the opposite window without breaking speed. Jagged shards of glass cut at my neck and legs, slashing against my armor before snapping away as my saddlebags hit them. I was out again, and almost clear when the strap of my sniper rifle caught on a piece of jagged metal, and I was jerked to a halt, swinging back into the wagon's side with a jarring thud. I was caught. I tried to pull away, but my hooves barely brushed the ground. I could hear the hoofbeat of a multitude of zombie ponies as they reached the long body of the wagon, the herd splitting to go around either side. I twisted about, trying to bite the strap loose before they were on top of me. Somewhere above, I heard Calamity taking shots. I heard the metal of the wagon dent and puncture, his hits for once not striking the enemy. Panic flared through me. If the zombie ponies didn't get me, one of Calamity's wild shots might.
The hell's wrong
Terribly,
with me?
I realized how preferable a fate that would be, and I prayed that Celestia would grant him the wisdom and mercy to shoot me if they started eating me.
I just woke up. I should not
With
be
a final
yawning.
strong bite, the strap broke, and I fell free. Instinctively, I grasped the sniper rifle in my teeth, realizing only later how foolish a waste of a precious second that was. and I ran as hard as my screaming legs and side would let me. The zombie herd was already coming around the passenger wagon and closing in on me. Their hooves brutalized the discolored grass beneath. Even more swooped over it with an ease that made my shortcut laughable. My clear mind and heightened perceptions had become pure terror. I could feel the ground tremble beneath me. I could calculate how swiftly they would be gnawing on my hide. I could make out a strange, faint pop, even through the rumble of the herd. I could feel myself lifted into the air as the wreckage of the passenger wagon was consumed in a flare of unleashed wild magic. I could see the pulsing cascade of colors cast strange shadows as swirling magical energies erupted through the air. I could smell the fetid corpse stench of the zombies as they were blown apart, even as their body parts caught fire. I hit the ground, still running, the valley lurching about as I fought to keep from tumbling. Bits of zombie pony flattered down about me like rain. Ahead of me, Velvet Remedy had stopped and was just staring, eyes fixed on a scene behind me that I preferred not to imagine. Most of the herd was killed in the blast, and many who were not had scattered, but not for long. Calamity swooped over me, crying out for panting Velvet to turn back around and keep running. A cluster of odd sky vehicles, painted in mottled light blue and gray with tiny splashes of white, formed the only possible defensible position. Beyond that, the valley spread out into rolling, rocky hills that offered no cover at all. We reached it as more zombie ponies overflew us, landing just yards away.
Are they all Pegasi?
Velvet Remedy lowered her horn, charging at them, and skewered one messily, unable to hold back, and ew, that I just empathized with completely. I tried to grasp little Macintosh telekinetically, but my magic just couldn't. Desperately, I looked around for something I could grasp in my mouth. A piece of sufficiently spear-like debris would do.
Melee
What I
weapons.
found was infinitely better. At least, I thought so. As Calamity shot the zombie pony moving towards me, I scrambled over to where the cargo of one of the vehicles had spilled. I had seen it, in small and cruel glimpses, the beautiful light blue sky above the clouds. My mental-clear mind quickly realized the paint on these strange sky chariots would have once served as camouflage. A Pegasus military convoy.
Oh!
And, praise Celestia, one of the things they had been transporting was turrets. I was trained to reprogram the spell matrix of a pitbuck. Tweaking a turret to run off my pitbuck's definitions of friend and foe was comparatively easy. Especially right now. Little Pip, you sure you know what you're doing? Calamity asked, sparing me a glance as he landed between me and more zombie ponies, firing again. I was all grins. You betcha.
It's not
Celestia
loaded.
watch you and keep you safe as you travel down the path you choose. May Luna be with you and keep you strong, so your courage you will never lose.
I thought he
Remain
said he wasn't
loyal,
going to sing
honest and
anymore.
brave. Forget not the ones that you save, and in your hearts you will do no wrong.
Velvet Remedy's tune wove between humming and lyrics, the latter in a state of constant flux. For me, watching my idol actually craft a song was amazing. Calamity didn't complain. He too found her music to be uplifting in the bleakness of the wasteland.
She's a bard.
Although his occasional eye-rolling suggested he wished she would stick with one set of lyrics rather than seeking perfection. It had been several hours since the zombies in the valley were safely behind us. A darker gray began to seep into the sky again. Not a storm, Calamity said with some encouragement. Just the approach of nightfall. If I ever met the Pegasus ponies, I thought, I'll have to thank them for making the equestrian wasteland so depressing. Somehow it was worse than the drab monotony of Stable 2, because I never believed that Stable 2 could be better. Although, that could have been the post-Mintow depression talking. Oh my, Velvet gasped as we crested a rolling hill and saw it. An absolutely gigantic billboard, far taller than any of the buildings I'd seen, loomed just beyond the next hill. The image, amazingly unfaded yet marred with the grime and water damage of centuries, was nothing but the giant face of an almost unbearably pink pony, with a mane that age had turned into a candy cane. She was smiling, and her eyes seemed to follow us.
Pink pie.
I had seen this before from the train. Even now, recognizable in this light and at this distance as a billboard, it, merciful Celestia, still gave me nervous chill. I stared as I walked closer.
Pink
trying
pie
to
should not
imagine
be
it
on
before
billboards.
So many decades had taken their toll. Before it had been repeatedly peppered by wind-blown dust and ash, streaked with rivulets of rain. Back when its placement would have been clearly playful, set behind the rays of the hill so it looked like a pony was playing peekaboo with the whole damn countrysides. Back when it wasn't so. Luna damned fucking creepy. I tried to shake off the feeling with a shudder, turning away from the massive billboard, and found myself staring at a sneaky sprite bot. Hello, little Pip. I would have been in the next country if Calamity didn't bite my fleeing tail. He held me while I ran in place until the panic left me. By that time, Watcher had wisely floated out of Hoof's reach. You are so lucky I can't telekinetically hurl rocks at you right now. Velvet Remedy looked like she'd help me. Calamity was glaring distrustfully at the sprite bot, wings out, legs spread in defensive stance. Little Pip? All I wanted to know right then was, Watcher, are they safe? The sprite bot bobbed. Yes, wagons are underway, although Pt2 might now be under the impression that you can hack sprite bots and send messages through them. Sorry about that. Lil Pip, Calamity would have been growling if he could. I don't trust that thing. So, Watcher had found a way to relay the message without alerting the pony folk of New Appaloosa to what Watcher was able to do. At Calamity's words, I realized I really didn't trust Watcher either. And now that I knew the ponies we fought and nearly died to rescue were safe, or soon would be, quite a few more questions tumbled in.
I was going to play devil's advocate and why you should, but then I thought about it, and like, no. And yeah, he told you where to get the Wasteland Survival Guide, and you rescued Pt2 and the little fowl who's... Yeah. Like, we all know what was happening, but I don't want to mention it. But at the same time, he didn't fucking tell you what you would find in there, and all he had to do was give you a rundown. I mean, Lil Pip, okay, well, he doesn't know. We know your moral fiber and you go help them. He doesn't, so... Still, don't fucking trust that guy.
...into my mind. First and foremost being, you sent me into that raider pit knowing full well what and who I would find there, didn't you? Calamity broke off, staring at the strangely behaving bot, looking to me. I had never told him why I had gone to the Ponyville library. They needed help. You could have told me the truth, I scowled. Hey, I didn't exactly know you, did I? You seemed like a good pony who would do the right thing once I saw it for herself. But now I felt like growling. You lied to me. No. If it was possible for the toneless mechanical voice to sound heated, it would have. I told you I didn't mean any harm, and I didn't. I told you you would find something you needed to survive in there. The sprite bot flew close, and I'd say you found more valuable things in there than just a book, wouldn't you agree? Damn it. Watcher was right. I found Pt2, who was an acquaintance.
Here's the thing. Just because he's right doesn't mean he's correct. Those don't always go together. I just learned that from watching anime. But he still sent you in there without telling you the kind of shit that was going to go down. Okay? Still sent you in there without telling you anything that was going to go down. So, like, and he managed to tell the New Appaloosans about the slaves without revealing himself. So he doesn't want to reveal himself to them. This is shady shit. This is shady shit.
I value far more than the guide she wrote, which I held in fairly high regard. Spinning a mental web, I can make an argument that my friendship with Calamity arose out of what happened there. Possibly, although less firmly, I could say my relationship with the New Appaloosans, and thus my ability to save many more ponies, including Velvet Remedy, for certain definitions of saving, stemmed from what Watcher pulled. I still wanted to stuff a hoof through the damn bot's front plate, but I knew it wouldn't do any good.
Yes, well, you'll get salvage.
Velvet Remedy spoke up. Little Pip, what's going on here? I told them everything. Whoops, almost out of time, Watcher warned as I finished up my tale. Watcher only rarely commenting. Calamity was still giving the floating bot nasty looks. I organized the questions in my head, prioritizing. Watcher, you seem to know a lot about things. Well, yeah. What were the ministries? I had seen enough references to the ministries scattered in the artifacts of the past that I suspected much information would be helpful for context. I didn't realize that I had just asked what was arguably the most important question of my life.
I hate that book.
It was, at least, Celestia tier. Watcher was silent for a while, long enough that I thought our strange pseudo-companion might have winked away again. Watcher's words came slowly, deliberately. Remember when I told you that you should search for your virtue, and I told you about the greatest heroes of Equestria? I nodded. You mentioned them, yes. Well, Watcher's words came slowly, as if they were painful. The massacre at Littlehorn broke Princess Celestia's heart. After that, nearly midway through the war, Princess Celestia decided she wasn't the right pony to lead Equestria anymore, so she stepped down, abdicating her position to her sister, Princess Luna.
Big fucking
mistake.
I could tell that.
I've never heard the goddesses spoken of about in this way. The war had been devastating, both abroad and at home. Equestria was in severe distress, suffering from troubles within as well as from enemy armies. You can't imagine what it was like back then. Those heroes I told you about? They were 6 amazing ponies with true hearts and virtuous souls, whose friendship held the power to change the world. Princess Celestia had always been like a mother to them. She saw them, one in particular, as her children. She loved them and wanted to protect them. So Princess Celestia shielded them from the worst of the war, finding quests for them to keep them mostly out of harm's reach, or at least away from the battlefields. Sending them on diplomatic missions to the Griffins and the Buffalo, things like that. Princess Luna met them for the first time in a much different circumstance. Princess Luna respected them and saw them as her equals, and I really think as her saviors. And so when Princess Luna ascended to rule Equestria and fight the war, she called Equestria's most valuable heroes to serve as her personal advisors. She called for the creation of new offices of government, one under each of them, whose job it would be to take their advice and find ways to implement it.
They are Luna, that's really fucking stupid. Like, that is really fucking stupid. For one, they're not trained. Twilight might be educated, but most of them are not educated. They're not trained. They don't have the experience to run a government organization. Like, it's not easy. Okay? Just got a little heated there, but that's just fucking stupid, Luna. And the worst part is I could see her doing it. I could actually see her doing that. And that's why I get so angry, because I can actually see Luna do that. And it's such a bad decision. So, Rainbow Dash is a weather manager, okay? She's not just a weather pony, she's a weather manager. That's actually canon to the world of MLP. So she does have experience organizing other ponies, but in the end, she is a civilian who handles the weather for a small town. She does not have the experience, the training, or anything to run a large ministry, government, national, whatever you want to call it, ministry. The only one who might is Twilight. And we know that Twilight, well, Celestia would know, and Celestia should tell Luna that Twilight is, on average, a antisocial nerd. I love her. She's my favorite pony, but she is an antisocial nerd. Okay, she prefers to just spend her time alone reading books. And she needs her 5 friends to keep her grounded in reality. What you should have done is made one ministry under Twilight with all 5 of her friends as her advisors. That way you have Twilight and her organization and intelligence, but all her friends to help her out. You see, it works. And Applejack, she's a farmer. She owns one farm, not like a farming conglomerate, just one farm, and she works at it. She does. I don't even think she has farm hands. She does that herself with her family. She does not, in no fucking way does she have. No, Luna, no. What the hell are you doing giving Fluttershy that much responsibility? You will break her. You will break her. And Pinkie Pie. What the fuck were you thinking? What were you thinking? I mean, I could see you do it, Luna, but I just gotta know, what were you thinking? Oh. I think what makes me so angry at Luna for doing that is because I can see her doing it. I really can. But, I understand that Celestia would step down, but she would still have power. It's still a diarchy. I mean, she would still have a say. You'd think that she would take Luna aside and say, Luna, are you sure giving 6 civilians who, for the majority, don't have any experience or knowledge or really qualifications to handle a ministry that will govern national internal policy and development, do you think this is wise? And, oh, god damn it, Luna. Fuck. No wonder the world went to shit.
And those were the ministries. Yes. I looked around at the bleak, ruined wasteland that had once been the beautiful nation of Equestria. Doesn't look like that went so well. Silence. Then Watcher spoke again.
You fucking think?
Have you ever heard the old saying, the portal to hell is open with the incantation of good intentions? If there was a moral to their story, I guess that would be it.
Again, Fallout Equestria is all over the place. I know why the war started. Well, the resource reasons for it. Equestria has gems. Again, I forget if they talked about that. I know they imported coal, but I know that the zebras had coal. Equestria wanted coal. The zebras wanted gems. It was trade. But something's happening and gems are running out. That I just realized that's been invalidated by Pinkie Pie's family. They're fucking rock farmers. Their house has gems growing out of the ground. It's like I've been saying, in the world of Equestria, dragons eat gems. And as a race, I think it's called livovore. They eat minerals. Livovore. Which actually makes sense why they want gold, because they eat that. They eat minerals. They eat the gold. So stealing gold is like, from a dragon, is like stealing bread from a guy. But anyways, their entire species would be... I just got a Skype chat. Their entire species would just die out if, like, gemstones or other minerals didn't grow back. What I think is going on is that the ponies are magic. Just, ambient magic in the air, like, filters into the ground and condenses. Because Equestria has a ridiculous number of gemstones. Like, they are growing in the ground like plants. That's why I think rock farmers are. Rock farmers use their earth pony nature magic to roll the rocks around and transform it into gems. Or maybe, the ambient magic, when they do that, collects and becomes gems. Because Pinkie Pie's family has a ridiculous amount of crystals. That's what I think is going on here. So that completely invalidates Fallout Equestria, but I don't know why. I just had to get that out there.
As night closed in, we approached a farm that seemed largely intact. No animals in the fields, but smoke curled up from the smokestack, and there was a welcoming glow in several of the windows, as well as a light seeping through the cracks around the silo doors. It was just the three of us again, Watcher having vanished with a pop, replaced by tinny patriotic music and an oblivious sprite bot. Calamity had kept a wary eye on the bot until it had wandered out of sight. A raven fluttered down, perching on the first of what looked like a row of 3 planks sticking out of the ground near the edge of a barren pasture. The last plank was smaller and crooked. The last fellow standing of a fence, I presumed. Quickly but carefully we trotted down the rocky hillside and through the stone-strewn fields to reach the house. We needed a place to sleep, food to eat, and, if possible, medical supplies. The house seemed like it was sent from Celestia herself, assuming the ponies inside didn't shoot us for trespassing. Hanging hope on the hospitality of strangers was unwise in the equestrian wasteland. A creaky windmill with 2/3 of its blades missing squeaked rustily as we passed. Maybe this isn't such a good idea, I began. Just because there was no awful graffiti did not mean the place wasn't full of raiders. Velvet Remedy marched past me. Really, little Pip, you shouldn't sound so jaded. She was raising hoof to knock when the door swung open, bathing us in warm light. Velvet blinked at the empty space in front of her, then looked down to see the filly in the doorway. She was pink. Garishly pink. It was oddly like looking at the face in the giant billboard, only much, much smaller. And younger. And a very imperfect match. It was hard to tell in the light, but she seemed somehow wrong. My eyes first lighted on a rough scar on her head, like she'd recently fallen head first, possibly at very high speed, and scraped herself up rather badly. The first guess that popped into my head was that she had jumped off the roof of her barn. Trying to fly? My eyes moved to her sides, looking for wings, but she was indeed an earth pony. Then my eyes caught her bare flank. She was young, but not that young. She stood less than a head shorter than me. I knew what it was like to strive for a cutie mark that wouldn't come. My heart went out to her. She had waited longer for hers than even I had, and was still... Wait. No. Wait. The wrongness snapped into focus. If I'd been on Mintails, I would have realized it immediately. Her coat wasn't actually her coat.
K-Cat, is Little Pip addicted to Mentats now? Because I get worried. I play Fallout 3 recently. Goddamn, you get addicted so easily. Like, I don't want Little Pip to become a druggie. I want a bad karma route of this story just to see what would happen. But I don't want Little Pip to become a druggie.
She'd painted herself pink. I looked to Calamity and then Velvet Remedy. From their expressions, they had seen it too, and it didn't sit well with them. "Hello, dear," Velvet began. Is your mother... Oh my gosh! The filly jumped up, squealing in delight. Then, just as quickly, she brought a hoof to her mouth, gasping as if in horror. Oh no, you're late! I waited for you all day, but now we're closed. Tears welled up in her wide eyes. Velvet Remedy...
Damn, I wanted to stop just a second before that. Because it's with the video's at 25 minutes long, and I'm going to cut it. I'm still thinking about Luna, and given 6 civilians with no experience, control of government ministries. Like, god damn it. Just god damn it.